Hi, he's David.
And he's Doug.
He's a bunny.
And he's a fox.
And together we are...
2D.
Guess what released today? Batman vs. Superman!
Guess what we're not reviewing today?
That film! Guess what we are reviewing today, though? A movie about funny little animals in a animal world city thing.
It's kind of got two names, though.
Yeah, for the sake of the review, we're going to use Zootopia because that's the name it should have had. In the UK, it's known as Zootropolis because copyright happened at some point.
Yeah.
But it's Zootropolis. Zootopia.
Well,
that already bugs me.
Okay, well, it was released as Zootopia, but we got Zootropolis for some reason. But
anyway,
anywho's
before we completely go down that rabbit hole, let's pretend I meant that. Liam, why don't you start with the positives?
That was a cute bunny.
Wow.
No,
so deep. So in depth.
What I mean to say is, like, you get films where it's like, oh look, there's baby stuff, but then there's like this one when there's a baby bunny. Dude, there's loads of bunnies.
Yeah, there were loads of bunnies.
Okay, the colours. The colours were quite vibrant for a large amount of the film, and there was different environments which really accentuated this. Is accentuate a word?
It is a word, but you're not using it right.
Cool. Vibrant colours, different areas, used them well.
Really? That's what you're going with?
I said colours.
It was pretty. It was pretty colours.
Okay.
Fair enough.
We might come back to me. We're just
bouncing
it back to you.
Fair enough. You're bouncing it back.
You go.
Fair enough, fam. I would like to take my first positive here is that the story in this is actually really good. It's way deeper than I thought it would be. I imagined it would be like some kind of a policey thing, but the actual story we got was way more in depth than I expected.
Yeah, it really was.
There's twists and turns, and there's ooh, and it's just really well thought out. And I like that. It's actually a very good cop movie thing.
Yeah.
God, your influence is wearing off on me. Well, I'll take over and hit over here and talk about the animation, which was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. In fact, the fur animation in particular on this was absolutely gorgeous. And just seeing all these really nicely designed different anthro animals going around was really nice. The entire thing is shot from Judy's not point of view, but from her kind of perspective.
Yeah.
Which means that the camera throughout the film remains relatively low. Which gives everything this sort of weird macro scale. Everything else is huge, because we're talking about a city where everything has to be built for things like elephants and giraffes.
Has 3 doors, one for medium animals, one for big animals, and one for little mice.
Yeah, and the way it all works, which I suppose I'll get on to later, because that's a separate positive I have. The fact that this city is made to this one super scale and everything sort of fits within it gives this rather odd sort of macro kind of scale to it, which was particularly interesting to look at throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. This film has a few random bits where there's feels, and it even gets quite dark at bits. Not feelsy, but kind of going back to the story, you don't expect it, but there is a bit of a dark twist to it that could have gone a very different route if they chose to.
Super vague.
Super vague.
Super vague. Everything is super vague.
I'll go back to the feels. There's a lot of random feels in this film, and you just sound and then you're and then it's and then it's you cry.
Yeah, there's so much adorableness
Yeah.
in this film as well.
And it explores a friendship between two unlikely friends.
That's nice. So if we were to go into this in particular, the relationship that arises between Judy and Nick, the two main characters, a bunny and a fox, it's really cute. It's just like they have just the best interaction ever. Like, she's super smart and he's like super smug, and he's super smug, like really sort of like self-assured and cocky. It's great.
Characters. I liked a lot of the characters in this film.
Yes.
They have a nice cast, and variety of different personalities.
Yeah. And let's not forget the voice work on this film, which was brilliant. Interestingly enough, Disney went with a cast of almost completely unknowns. So about the biggest name in this I can think of was actually Idris Elba
and J.K. Simmons.
And J.K. Simmons, who is God. He was like voice God.
Yeah.
But yeah, particularly interesting in this is that Idris Elba actually plays like a police chief character, which was quite reminiscent of his role in Luther, which is a fantastic TV show in which he plays just like really, really like spat out and chewed up kind of police guy, and that's it's kind of interesting. It's like Luther is her chief dude. It's kind of funny. Idris Elba in this is great, but everybody is great in this movie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the world for a moment, shall we?
Okay.
The actual environment. Rather just how well it works.
Yeah. And how well animated it was for the variety they did.
Yeah. Like the whole idea of this film, obviously there's all different species that live in this one super city. And like again, the whole like logistics of it, there's this huge apartment buildings and things, and they're like it's just filled with like regular animals like gazelles and rabbits, foxes, these kind of things. But there's also the entire world is designed for like huge animals, and there's also like provisions for smaller animals so that they can get along and do things. There's like hamster tubes everywhere and small doors for like small little rodents in huge buildings and things.
And though they have this main town centre, they have different kind of
areas, zones,
different zones for different types of habitat for specific animals. Like there's a rainforest,
there's a Arctic tundra area,
desert area.
Yeah,
it's kind. I like that they did that because it's like, wow, they've actually thought about all these animals living together. They can't just they've given them some in touch with reality.
Yeah, again. Like one of the things I really liked about Inside Out is just how well this film works logistically.
Yeah. Like
again, as you mentioned, there's all these different areas around the city, and that's particularly interesting because it means that they worked out that certain animals would prefer to live in certain places, and it all works. And then there's like the big city centre area. And that is supposed to be like an urban area, which I suppose is more open to like urban-based animals as well as like a big business hub thing.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. Oh yeah, the rodents and things actually have their own little city within the city.
Kind of ridiculous.
It's pretty stupid, but it's great.
It's got a fence around it too, so rhinos can't come running in or whatever.
Yeah, or like you don't accidentally step on the entire city.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That particular moment, you get like a really cool like scale shift, and all of a sudden it becomes like a monster movie kind of thing. And you got anything else?
No, cool.
All right then. And I think that means we can move on to the negatives. That makes me a negative Nelly, doesn't it?
Yep.
I'm going to have to say that some points, Judy's character in particular felt somewhat inconsistent.
Okay.
I don't think it was a huge problem with it, but throughout the film she's built this like really tough, quick, super enthusiastic like cop, and like she's the kind of person at the start she's like, I'm not just going to put 100 tickets on a thing, I'm going to put 200 tickets on. Tickets down before noon or something like that. 100
just like the type of person that will ask for homework.
Yeah. She's like really trying to prove herself. She's a massive overachiever, which seems a little strange when later on in the film, and this isn't a spoiler, where we meet this guy who's selling totally bootleg DVDs, like hella bootlegged DVDs, and she doesn't immediately arrest him.
You could argue that the fox has rubbed off on her by this point.
But, like, again, there's just occasional little inconsistencies in, like, how she's going about, and it seems a little weird to me. Also, there's, like, I don't know, it seems weird to want to see paperwork, but I don't know, just like a token shot of them doing like loads of paperwork, sort of like not Shaun of the Dead, like Hot Fuzz kind of style. That would have been pretty nice. Like I felt that was missing.
Also, the bit when she jumps over the fence, when you're talking about this inconsistency, I kind of agree with you because she's kind of breaking the law there.
Yeah, but she's using an excuse.
Yeah, but that's like a temporary excuse. I don't know. For someone who's trying to prove themselves, it's a bit odd.
Yeah, but she is kind of like using the law as like, in this case, like.
But she's abusing the law.
Spoiler argument, this is.
Okay, we'll save it.
We'll save this for spoilers.
Okay, cool.
You got anything else?
Negatives.
So yeah, save for that one little inconsistency, I can't really say there's anything that I particularly didn't like in this film.
Nothing stands out that we don't like.
Yeah, but there's nothing I could point my finger at and say, that needs to go.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Which I think brings us on to the verdict.
Wait, there were no reptiles?
Oh yes, that's a strange point. There's like no reptiles in this, which seems really weird.
Is it because they're too... No, I was going to say too small, but there's mice.
Yeah, it seems weird that there would be no reptiles in there. There might have been reptiles and we just didn't notice. They mostly seem to be like mammals. There's no birds either. Do you remember there being birds?
Not really, no. Those camels.
Those camels. So yeah, on to the verdict. And Liam, give us your verdict.
My verdict? Well, it was fun to see in cinema, but I could understand if you wanted to wait for it to come out on Blu-ray or whatever. But it's a good film. It's a nice watch. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna give it a 1. Go see it.
I'm gonna give it a much stronger one. I really like this film. I connected with it quite a lot. I actually thought it was just as good, if not better, than Wreck-It Ralph. That's quite some praise.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. It was really interesting, but.
So I give it a moderate 1, and he gives it
I give it a firm 1.
Cool.
It still warms here. It's still a unanimous go see it.
Yeah, it's worth seeing.
But it's interesting. There's this sort of gulf between how much both of us like this one. Maybe we can get onto that in spoilers or something. Speaking of which. Spoilers! Spoilers!
You've kind of been warned, so we're gonna spoil shit out. We're gonna spoil the hell out of this.
I think it's okay to do some swearing. I've dropped a swear in this before. It's cool.
We've probably accidentally dropped it once or twice.
And speaking of spoilers, so that bit when they're going over the fence.
Yeah. It's because it's like she's so by the book, and then she's just there like casually, like I don't know, very by the book, and then she's pretty much bending the rules, and it's kind of doesn't feel like her. Considering they've made her seem very follow book. Like, wake up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Get out of bed. Go.
She's a rule follower. She seems a stickler for rules, and at this point it seems rather weird that she would. I mean, earlier she actually tried to get she actually got Nick on on a tax evasion.
Yeah, she could have wrecked him.
Yeah, and got Nick on tax evasion, but there's also the but then like later she chucks the pen in there, and then Nick goes in, and then she burrows in, and then uses Nick's being there as an excuse to be in there, thus making her being there lawful. Which,
but it's like it makes sense, but it's just kind of odd for me.
I understand, but the one that really does bother me is that like later on in this you see a mob lord, and it's like we know this guy's a crime boss. She should be like champing at the bit to try and arrest him, or.
But he hasn't done anything necessarily bad about trying to ice them.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, he tried to ice them, so at this point that's attempted murder of a police officer, and that's very much an arrestable thing. And again, later on, as we talked about, the guy who's bootlegging.
But she wasn't a cop at this point.
I think she was.
She handed in a badge and then came back to the city to look for the berries.
But why did they treat her as a when at the end of the movie they treated her as an officer?
She was still wearing a uniform.
Yeah, but they seem to still acknowledge that she was an officer. What I'm getting is that she actually took like a big leave. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the biggest inconsistency in the whole film. Is like, did she actually resign, or did she just like take a big leave of absence for some reason? Because I think she took a big leave of absence, because otherwise she would have been breaking all the laws at the end.
And though she didn't arrest him, she did kind of get him hung over icy water. Shortly after.
Oh, yeah.
So he kind of does get his.
Yeah, she does get his, but it seems a little inconsistent on her part. Again, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy this, but it just seemed rather weird that she would be at one minute just using any excuse to enforce the law, but later on seems to let certain things slide. She doesn't seem the kind of person who would let these kind of things slide, at least to me.
Yeah.
You got any other spoiler points?
I ship it. Well, I shipped it before the film decided it shipped it itself. The fox and the bunny. They're a thing.
They're adorable.
Yeah, they really are.
They're adorable.
You can see why they get along great.
I actually dispute that they're a couple even at the end. It's like, you know you love me, and she's like, yeah, I do. But I dispute that. That might have been like you saying, you know you love me, and me saying, yeah, I do.
But it's the way she said it, and the way he said it. And smiling at each other, and the whole being playful together.
Yeah, but that could just be like buddies, like.
I ship it.
That was a little.
The film can do whatever it wants, but I ship it.
And let's talk about the actual like big threat plot of the film. Oh, you've got something?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, the like big threat plot of the film, like the idea is that all of these mammals have disappeared. These like predators, different predator animals, just disappeared. Where'd they go? Nobody knows. And then, like later, it turns out that they've all some predator animals have started going feral, and it's like, why have they gone feral? Oh my god, they've gone feral.
They've gone instinctual. What's happened?
And then there's the whole thing makes a play on like social prejudices and things, and it's like don't label people and things.
Yeah. You can be what you want and don't label people for who they're born as.
Things like that. This movie laid it on pretty hard with that stuff. With the like be whoever you want to be and like believe in yourself kind of thing. It laid it on pretty hard on that.
Yeah, the threat being that random animals were just becoming quite savage, and it was just kind of, oh no, why is this happening? Like, it was very unheard of.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Like, it was a good, like, plot thing.
Yeah.
And I like how it ultimately ended. But it's just interesting that they went that route.
Yeah. And there's a lot of puns in this film. And
Oh yeah, there's lots of
funny bits.
nice little jokes and puns in this.
Like the sloth at the end.
Oh yeah, there's a sloth. There's obviously, if you've seen it in all the trailers, there's Flash the sloth who's like really slow, and that's funny. And there's other things.
Hey.
And Nick is great as well. I suppose this isn't spoilers, but there's like,
he's got a great character.
Yeah, like Nick is like a con man, and we see Nick like running this like big con throughout the whole thing, and that's really cool.
Ooh, your dad.
Oh yeah, that's it. There's a fantastic montage towards the start of like Judy going through police academy. And there's like bits where she's trying to jump over obstacles and things, and just failing. And every time the instructor just shouts, "You're dead!"
She falls down. Douche, you're dead, dad. And then she climbs up onto a toilet, falls in, and it goes to the cubicle next to you. You see the fat, like the pearl of her legs, and she's like, "You're dead." It's just kind of ridiculous.
It's great though. And I don't think I got much more spoilers on this one.
Neither have I.
Well, that's about the tiniest, quickest little review we've done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Zootopia / Zootropolis, whatever it's called, wherever you are, go see it.
Good
it's
film.
Good.
Take your kids. Take your dog.
Although, if you're in the UK or somewhere where it's called Zootropolis, I actually recommend importing the US Blu-ray because it's Zootopia over there, as it should be. I'm opposed to it being renamed over here. I don't like it. Tell you what else I don't like, Disney. Releasing it a couple weeks late over here. But that's a subject for a different video.
And on that note, this is us.
That is 2D. Out.